Hello, and welcome back, or welcome to, if you are new here, to my ASMR channel. As you can see, completely different vibe. We are now officially moved in the new house. I know, I'll give you a minute. So, I'm gonna give maybe just a little rundown of what the day looked like. Okay. Now, I might film here. I'm not really sure. Okay. I'm still trying to figure things out. Obviously, I almost wasn't even going to film. But I needed a break. You know, your girl needed a break. So, I'm not really sure what I'm gonna call this video. But I hope you enjoy it anyway. Thumbs up it if you do, of course. And definitely hit that subscribe button, okay? So, if maybe you didn't know, I mentioned in my life update video, I think, not the last video, but the video before that one, if I'm not mistaken, I mentioned we were officially moving. We were moving on the 22nd, of course, this past Thursday. So, yeah. Now, okay, I'm not in Louisville anymore, not even in Kentucky anymore. We'll get to how I feel about that in a minute. But we moved here to Indiana to be closer to my sister, brother-in-law, and my niece. So, okay, first of all, the 24 hours before, well, yeah, was kind of chaotic, I'm not gonna lie. You know, since I learned that we were moving, of course, you know, it was getting kind of close. I was already trying to, I was trying to get it going, trying slowly but kind of surely, to get packing and everything. So, that Wednesday just, I didn't have to pack as much, the next day, moving day, as I thought I was going to, but it was still kind of like crunch time in a way. The movers, they were gonna be here about 8 o'clock in the morning, so unfortunately that meant I had, I get up for breakfast. Again, I'm diabetic, of course, and I kind of have, like I mentioned before, a set schedule. So for breakfast, I just kept it 6:30, about, that was the time that I got up for school. So I kept that time, set my alarm, of course, for every day, get up, eat breakfast, go right back to bed. This time, unfortunately, of course, I couldn't do that. I could not sleep in as much as I wanted to. So my day pretty much started about 6:30 in the morning. I got maybe a few hours sleep. Got up, took a shower and everything, and then just got to packing last minute things after that. Trying to do it as much time as I could until they got there. to say I was over it well before moving day. You know, all of the boxes that like kind of built up in my room, I was trying to kind of put them to a place where I could easily move around if I wanted to, but it wasn't working. I felt like it was building up by the minute, second, whatever, you know. But like I said, I was trying my absolute best. And if you have ever moved before, you probably know how I feel. You know, you're trying to kind of somewhat rush, you know, so you don't have nearly as much maybe to pack, or maybe you hope to have nothing to pack on moving day, you know, depending on when the movers get there for you. You know what I mean? Like, so, you know, I'm literally like, I'm taking things out of the closet that I wanted, you know, taking my curtains down, etc., you know, and I didn't think I was gonna get done. I was trying to find something random to kind of like put them in, you know, so, which, that was a problem-ish of its own, you know. I know I mentioned on TikTok I did a small life update like about a month ago now, I believe, or something like that. I don't remember if I did it here, but it had rained like that whole weekend. Really bad storms and whatnot were hitting, and that had fortunately caused our basement to flood. Now, unfortunately, I had to throw some things away. You know, some clothes, unfortunately, some bed sheets, which that wasn't really a problem because that was from my old mattress. I think some of my art, which in a way kind of somewhat didn't hurt too much, because I know kind of a lot of that what I kept down there, that was kind of like around when I first started, you know, my fluid art painting, meaning I will show it sometimes in my videos. So again, that didn't really bother me because they didn't turn out the greatest, you know, so it was kind of somewhat whatever. We're able to actually save kind of a lot of it though, so like I said, the day started, at least for me, well, my parents included, 6:30, about. Didn't finally get going and everything until I want to say maybe 2:30 maybe. You know, the movers, really quick, I'm gonna give them credit, you know, everything, you know, got here in a timely manner. Granted, we had like to wait about an hour or so after we got here, but it was no big deal. But they unloaded what they could, what we needed at least for the night. You know, mattresses included, of course. Then they came early the next day, same time, you know, Friday, 8 a.m. to unload the rest, which wasn't really much, thank God. But I just, you know, it was exhausting. Like I said, if you have ever moved, you know what I mean, of course. You know, and this is only the 4th house that we've been in. You know, obviously the one growing up, you know, the few that we lived in Louisville, and then of course, well, wait, one that we moved. Yeah, I'm pretty, like, we lived in 3 different houses in Louisville, so actually, no, this is the 5th. Wow. is all over the place. I don't know what I mean anymore. But anyways, like I said, it was pretty exhausting. I am not gonna lie. You know, but we finally, like I said, we got on the road. I want to say maybe, like I said, 2:30 p.m. of course. Stopped and finally got food about, I don't know, maybe like an hour later, something like that, you know. And then we finally got here about, I want to say 6, maybe 6:30 or so, something like that. I don't remember. Again, I was exhausted. We were all exhausted. But, you know, everything is kind of slowly coming along, you know. Obviously, my room, it's a hell of a lot different, of course, than my last one. I have no white walls. I have literally like a dark blue walls. I don't know how to feel about it. I'm definitely gonna try to figure out a color that I want though and paint over it, because I can do whatever with this house. You know, this is the first house that we've actually owned, you know, which is kind of wild. Any other house, of course, we rented. But everything is kind of slowly coming together. Again, I definitely need to do some reorganizing. Obviously, I have plenty of boxes that I need to unpack, you know, but for the most part, it's not too bad. You know, I want to say maybe a couple weeks now, I believe it's been, when I got to see this house for the first time. You know, because I wasn't with my parents when they looked at it. But after I saw it, I felt a little bit better. You know, I still don't know how to feel about it in a way, though. You know, like I said, it had kind of hit me in waves. You know, like I think I might have mentioned in the life update one. But, I mean, you know, I still miss Louisville, you know, my second home, you know, since 98, you know, when we moved down here. Well, there, I mean, I have to get used to that. So, it's still gonna take some getting used to, obviously, you know. I mean, I'm happy to be closer to my sister, you know, we can see my niece when we want, you know, but it's still weird. I miss my other room, I'm not gonna lie. That one was a little bit bigger than this one. You know, or maybe kind of, I mean, obviously things are different, you know, but we're gonna slowly get there. Obviously, you might definitely see some posters finally. For those who always comment about my posters, they are in a bag right here by me. I need to figure out where I am gonna put them, of course. And yeah, maybe the next video I'll do like a bedroom tour. Maybe. Would you guys maybe want to see that? I mean, I know it's a bedroom, but there is kind of one feature in here that I'm not gonna lie, on this wall in front of me, that's kind of cool. So maybe I will. I don't know. Let me know. So, yeah. Welcome to this new journey with me in this house. I still wish I was on my own. You know, maybe it wouldn't have hit so hard as it did. But for now, you know, until I can actually move out, maybe find my dream home, is. You don't hear a TV, which we won't have TV until Tuesday. So, listen, I don't know how I'm surviving, to be honest, at the moment. I haven't been able to watch anything since we've been here, but, a couple more days though. So, yeah, I'm gonna end this here. I hope you guys enjoyed whatever it is I'm gonna call this. But yeah, definitely thumbs it up. Definitely hit that subscribe button. Definitely follow me everywhere else. Main pages, like I said, like I mentioned a lot. Art pages, ASMR on TikTok. I'm gonna try to film some content for there as well, of course. But yeah, bear with me though if I am not able to maybe get filming it one day or something. I'm just trying to, what's the word I'm looking for? Comprehend, adjust, I guess, I don't know, to life here in Indiana. So, yeah, like I said, welcome. So, I hope you guys enjoy this. And as always, stay safe out there. And I will see you guys in the next one.